Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I don't know if we're going to be talking Bitcoin or business or about bureaus. I really don't know tonight, but I do know that Joanna and I have a special guest, Annie Blue. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell her about her special skills that she's going to entertain us with tonight.
Thank you very much, Jeff, for inviting me on this show. My name's Annie Blue, and I've been a tarot reader for about 20 years and going more into the public and feel very excited about what I can offer tonight to support people now with all the upcoming changes that are going on in our pivotal crypto world where everything's topsy-turvy. So I'm hoping that what I can share with everyone as a reading will be supportive and just kind of soften the anticipation of what's on everybody's plate in the crypto world right now. So yeah, so I've been reading tarot cards for 20 years.
Wow. Okay. And just so we know and we'll go into where people can find you later as we're going to just let's go. We got 3 people joining us so far. Thank you for joining. As I said, it's a different kind of show, and we're glad you could join. If you want to post in the comments in the chat, just want to say like your question, I'm sure that Annie will be happy to do a reading based on that. And then that's pretty much going to be the format tonight. And then in between things, I'm sure Joanna and myself will hold some glue together as we progress. Yes, crypto is very topsy-turvy right now. We don't know that. Let's see. Are the questions best phrased in a yes or no form, or they can be somewhat open-ended?
They can be somewhat open-ended. What I did do in preparation, Jeff, is to kind of do like an overall reading for crypto and what it's been through, what it's going through right now in the present, and where the anticipation will be in the future based on what the cards I pulled are offering. And it feels like a nice prelude for everybody just to get a bigger overall picture of what everybody's going through and hopefully to soften the load for everybody.
Well, I'm sure if there's people be joining, Joanna, I would think you would agree that people will be catching up as they're watching, because they can always back up and come back in real time. Hey, Farmer John, welcome aboard. But yeah, well, like I said, as people pop in with questions, but that's hey, Charlie, we will be sharing how to get a hold of Annie and Joanna and myself later on. But I think that's a great way to start. So Annie, if you have a preliminary reading and thoughts on what the market looks like, or however you want to pose the question you asked of the cards, go ahead and share that a little bit for the audience.
Beautiful. So I basically did a card spread that goes into the past of kind of what happened within the crypto world, and then what's going on presently, and then hopefully where it's going to be starting to go towards in the future. And it's actually pretty exciting. These are kind of an idea of the whoops, it's so hard to get of the cards that I used for the reading. So what I got up in the past is just that there was like all of a sudden a readiness where our world needed to have something new come into it from a currency standpoint and also from a freedom standpoint for all of us, where our needs were met in a healthier and more self-beneficial way, because I believe it's what is our sovereign calling to get to have. And what came with that was a choice and a decision that really did affect everything in our lives. Our basic security needs were looked at, and we had to come up with something to support our finances, our career, our family, and everything. And the crypto is offering a completely different haven, a different alternative outlook for us to pursue and really learn and glean. And then the biggest neatest part, of course, is that it's a creation potential, that it's going to take a lot of expertise, like people like you, Jeff, and the others that are bringing forth so much education for people and softening the way, because it's like a new language. So it's really awesome that something like this came on the horizon, and it's really percolating, different experts like yourself to bring forward a greater clarity in how to proceed, within this new creative potential. And so what crypto is doing is truly planting seeds for the future, because I think it's leading us more into the quantum world that we're heading towards. and it's like it's ready to birth an abundant and rich future. And I think, that's what's so neat about the building of crypto that's coming forth and showing up in the cards, that it's actually offering something like that for us, and making us, step into a completely new paradigm. And then as far as the present, it's aligning with our highest values when we operate within a place of integrity, and use the motivation and life experiences that we've gleaned so far, whether it's in the financial world and all the different studies that are needed to be done within the crypto world. There is so much to understand, all the curves and curveballs, and even just the different scammers that are showing up to try and mimic what everybody else is doing and leading people to directions they may not want to go. So an obstacle and barrier is just the balancing the momentum, because it's pretty wild. I mean, it goes fast paced, and then we hit something like the last couple of days where it's just doing its landslide. And I know in real estate they talked about the U, where things can go down and then they all of a sudden start to go up. And I feel like we're in that bottom of the U, getting ready, hopefully, to go back up. And it's just it's frightening when it goes, in the deep dive like it is. And so basically, this is like unseen events that we're merging into. We're going into new paths, new discoveries, and it changes literally by the hour. As far as I'm concerned, I'm blown away by what keeps coming up to study and glean and learn. And but the key for everybody is to temper their approaches, and to really become more of an alchemist in moderation and caution, because it's like finding a bit of a middle path sometimes, to stay grounded, and to not let our emotions take us to places that don't serve the greater cause of what crypto is going to provide for everybody and what it's going to bring forth. And really to have a strong belief for all of us that are embarking on into the crypto world, into what we're doing. I mean, this is taking huge action, respective of our worth, and we're creating a medium for us to create more self-freedom, which is what we deserve. We don't have to, like when you were talking about your privacy on your YouTube, Jeff, I mean, it's a time when we really need to be able to be in charge and be sovereign with our spending of our money. And the future is going to be wild, as we're already starting to witness. We're going to be breaking limiting patterns, and a lot of those patterns are, well, first of all, fear. I believe that it's the fear of fear that everybody can get into sometimes and really take themselves down, and just start to reshift and reframe how we respond to downturns. How can we best find a way to soften it and still stay positive, and keep looking for the virtues of what this may be about. Is this about somebody, some of the ones out there really trying to make a land grab type idea, where they're getting everything down so low that they can get in because their monies are tightening up in ways they never anticipated. I mean, it's hard to know, but it can be anything like that. So it's really learning to ride the waves of out of control times, or what appear to be out of control times, and reframe them and stay in the groundedness, because we have the ability to do that. So that's what's breaking the limiting patterns. And this is a liberation. This is a transformation time. We are moving into something that we can't even fathom how awesome it's going to be, I believe. I mean, the quantum world is going to offer so much to us, and I think the crypto is an avenue for us to move more into the more modern times, and all the abilities and all the modalities that are going to be out there for us, and crypto is going to be the means, and it's going to showing in these cards, it's going to bring a harmonic abundance. It's like really understanding, really getting into the value of what crypto is offering us. It's just like nothing we've ever anticipated, and I think we're going to be opening up to horizons that we can't even fathom. So it's nurturing, it's growth, and it's also working to bring about more teamwork. We're really needing to come together, look at what we've had just right here with Joanna, myself, and you. That's teamwork, and it's offering people just a different alternative for me to be able to bring the cards information that they're providing, and also really learning how to be creative with their money, like learning to use Cash App, learning to use different modes of operation to pay for services and things and supplies, and it's a powerful magic that is really contributing to the whole when the more we grow and stay educated with information that you bring forward, Jeff. And so the end of the card that was the end of the future was very interesting. It feels in a way like we're in a point of stagnancy, but and even I think there's a lot of burnout. And crypto, when new things begin, there's such an inertia. So then it's going through the sustenance part of it, where you're past the newness of it. So now it's time to go ahead and find a way to maintain and manage the next leg, the next chapter that's coming forward, which is where we are. And perseverance, and there's a lot of generosity and compassion that is important at this time between all of us, because there's just so many new realities coming our way that we have to learn and glean and discern what's safe, what's not. And but the neatest part about it is the very last card I picked was the Ace of Wands, which is all about roots of creativity and inspiration, which is about as you can't ask for anything better than that. So overall, I think it was a really supportive reading, to really start looking at all the things and value everything that crypto is bringing forward to us. And I'm grateful that the cards were supporting in this way. So any questions?
No, that's a great overview to start for sure. Joanna, did you have any questions to that?
No, but Cardana has one.
Okay,
And
hold on. I'll get to her question. Hold on. Oh, about the tarot cards? Go ahead. That's a good question.
Yeah, she was just asking.
I'll get to Charlie. I'll get to your question in a moment.
Cardano Anna wants to know, I'm here to learn what a tarot card is.
Okay. So basically these came forward. This is kind of an idea. This is a beautiful card I'm going to show you first, Cardano Anna. This is, let's get my directions here. This is the World card, which has a concept of, I'm going to keep doing it the wrong way, harmony and fulfillment. So these cards came along like in the late 1700s, and they actually started in Europe. They started in France, and they were used a lot as a means to support a lot of the royals and a lot of the people out there that had questions and were willing and open to have a different modality that was offered. So these cards, this is an idea of just what they're like. I'm just a facilitator, and I just bring forward the message that their cards are offering. And truthfully, these are used throughout the world. The person that I trained under is the #1 tarot reader in the world, and he's been doing it for about 40 years. And he literally he travels all over the world to do his readings, which he's not doing them anymore. He's now really supporting so many of us, because there's so many corporations. There's just so many people that are wanting some other version of understanding, of softening, and helping to sort out when things come to them. And sometimes they just can't do it just through the critical discernment. So this actually takes you down just a little bit different of an alternate road and makes you think. And it taps into more of the right brain, so it can tap more into the creative part of ourselves, and sometimes for some the spiritual part. So I hope that answers your question.
Well, I'm going to build on that question, and I have lots of questions, but I'm going to make sure that Charlie gets this question in a moment. But one question I wanted to ask, which I've talked to a few different tarot readers before. I've actually, there's one I favor, but I really had never had a reading in the last couple of years. But it's like the big place in history. But it seems to me that if every reader, for whatever reason, chooses a particular style of deck, and they're all so different. Like your deck looks very, very different than other tarot readers I've seen. What drew you to that deck, and why?
I think in this case, it's usually that, first of all, I want less pictures versus more. And these cards can support like speaking. Like, I mean, that's what's so neat about the cards is they actually, it's almost like when you go to a movie and see the images on the screen. The images are supportive of percolating aspects of my intuition. So they ignite, I guess the word would be. So, and it changes, you know, it's based on whatever your kind of inner intuition and guidance shows you, because I actually have a lot of decks of cards. So it's just fun to see what shows up within the time frame. But there actually is a way where you don't even have to use cards. There are many that have reached that point where the intuition gets so awakened and heightened that you can actually work with the client and be able to start really supporting where they are, and it can come forward just through the conversations. So it's going pretty far. And what's neat about it now is they're starting to mix it with coaching, and it's really I'm blown away by where you can get with it. I mean, there are many people now that are starting to have some major breakthroughs as a result.
Yeah, I think it's very interesting to see all the different perspectives and different areas you can glean information. Obviously, it's a piece of the puzzle, right? You got to put it all together, different things. You get a perception here, perception there, and it's up to you to discern what's right and how it all pieces together. And then, and some of the readings that I've had, like, you know, sometimes you'll get things and like it'll be like a month or two later, you're like, oh wait, she did say that, and then look, that just happened. Like you're gonna meet someone in November, December, and all of a sudden you met someone in November, December. Like, oh, look at that. So, but I could ask lots of questions, but let's get to someone else's questions. So Charlie's been waiting patiently, and he apparently is a farmer. So his question is, should I get out of farming now or stick with it? And I'm sure he's not the only one with that question right now.
Oh, I totally understand, Charlie. Totally understand. So it's pretty funny. You have a guy he's called the Knight of Swords. And as you can see, he's actually running. I mean, he's got his arrow in the back. He's got the bird that's supporting him, which is tremendous wisdom. But he's kind of like running, do not pass go, do not, collect 200. But it's interesting because the Knight of Swords is all about taking action. And it's more about taking action where you're processing through your own discernment. What's going to be my best course of action now? So that's the startup card. The next one is the Eight of Swords, which is all about obstacles and barriers. And it looks as though in this case, the obstacle and barrier is going to be your own mental ideas. I mean, one of the things that happens to so many people that I encounter that want to like move out of a house or whatever is there's still attachments to the places. There's still chords and aspects of them that they don't realize that there's a nostalgia. So there, obstacles can be where we're still holding on in some way, which this looks like it's more about your mental processing around it. And then what's really cool though is you're reaching a point where you actually come to a place of authority and comprehension from your own knowledge base. And also, this is also directing you to actually go talk to some people and get some support out there, just so when you make your decision that you feel more at one with it and you feel more whole. And I'm going to actually pull a couple more cards on this, just a second.
Very interesting. I'd look like the last, but go ahead.
This is great. So this is about completion. So actually, that's, to me, that is saying that you've gleaned a lot. You definitely still have a connection to your house in some sort of mental processing, which is very interesting. And then this is just telling you that I mean, she's packed up, ready to go. Look, she's got a farm animal. She's got everything packed. And so, as far as I'm concerned, this is giving you the yes to go ahead and get out of your farming. And it's going to be really neat to see what shows up. Just a second. So this is a card about persevering. And it has to do with emotionally, because it's so funny when we really do have a lot of connectedness to our homes. There's so much that they mean. So this is actually showing that there is still a connection for you, even though you're getting the go-ahead nostalgically to all the memories and dreams and hopes and ups and downs that you have shared with this property. And sometimes what supports it is even just like writing, sitting down and writing, almost like a love letter or goodbye letter or something, and just seeing how you feel after that, because this is about your emotions. And then I'm just going to do one other card here. So this is actually, again, related to the completion card, and it's about it is about change that's coming your way. So it's telling you within this completion, there's going to be a lot of changes. And as you can see, they're in a building process where they're working together more in a collaboration, like I shared with what's happening within the crypto and is being asked of us. So it's going to be neat to see where this now takes you, Charlie, as far as some sort of collaboration that's coming your way. And sometimes it can be where it may be in the completion that you don't necessarily have to give up the farm yourself, that you can actually call in partners and more of a group of people, because I'm seeing that happen now with people as well. So hopefully that helps and gives you some sort of a next step.
I will put Charlie's comment up here just to get the feedback. He says, thank you so much. I resonate with this a lot. Going to go see friends this weekend, in fact. So there you go. So, and that's one thing I want to tell people, and I'm sure that Annie would back me up on this, is that the cards, they tell different pieces of a story. It's not just like a yes or no. Like each card gives you an element to think about. And it's not like, oh, the answer is 7. It's just like, think about this, think about that. There's like different aspects, and it's up for you to, and it's Annie's very good at interpreting the cards. And also helps you to know what the cards mean or could mean. And it's up for you to see like how the light bulb goes off for you down the road. Mm-hmm. All right. So now, since this is and I think that's important to enlighten our audience, because our audience is not typically a tarot audience. Some may know it, some not. But I think now that's a good time to transition to a crypto question. So the More You Know Crypto asks, what do the cards show will happen with Celsius? And is the owner a good player or a bad player? And if you're not, Annie, are you familiar with that story? What's going on right now?
No, I'm not with Celsius. No.
So Celsius is a lender of crypto. They'll let you borrow against your crypto, but right now they're having issues, and they've frozen the ability to withdraw assets because they're kind of worried about making their debts whole. And people are concerned about, because we just had the Terra Luna issue a couple of weeks ago. And now other people are, with Bitcoin going down, everybody's concerned about, is Celsius sound? Are they going to be good? Or is it, if I can reframe the question, it's like the owner of Celsius, I can't remember his name, but the owner, that doesn't really matter. The owner of Celsius, is Celsius a good project? And are they going to come out of this hiccup that they're experiencing right now?
Well, it's really cool to see the cards I got. So the very first one I got was the wheel, and the wheel is all about evolution, which is very, very crucial right now. So they're in, that's what's so difficult. There's just so many twists and turns and things to understand, and, and all the legalities that have to be done. So we want to bring forth a lot of judgment, but we also have to have, like it talked about, generosity and compassion with all of this, and with the newness that we're encountering in all the different stages. So this is a really positive card about the evolution that's taking place. all of the cards were beautiful. This is the Empress, and this is, as you can see, she's showing that she's in birth. I mean, she's it's like fertile energy with positive outcomes. So whether or not the owner is good or bad, the actual Celsius itself might be able to carry through, because we are in that right now where the more of the bad players are being outed, and they're doing it on their own volition with the different antics that they do that really corner them. So this is really, really positive to get that evolution card, and then to get this where it's birthing an abundant and rich future is very cool. And then here we go again with, just like I had the 10 before, the 10 of Pentacles is all about completion. And look at the camaraderie that's going on in this card. Everyone's coming together. It's bringing together all different generations. And that's what we want to see. That's what we are hoping for crypto to start doing, because what we're building here is we're really starting to work on building legacy. So we really want to, we've gotten so away from building future generation pass downs. And crypto, I believe, is going to offer ways and means that we can't even fathom. And yes, there's going to be lots of learning curve hurdles and crushing moments in the process, but very, very positive. So I would say Celsius looks great.
Yeah, and just for completing the thought there, the owner's name is Alex Mashinsky. I can't remember all their names, but thank you for Charlie in the chat. Just for me to comment on the situation and the cards that I saw like the card about birth, which takes a while, and there's also about completion. So that kind of means that these projects are really in their infancy. They're only a few years old. And this is a stress test that's going on right now. That's what happened. Terra Luna failed their stress test. This is a stress test of, like, if Bitcoin drops 20%, how does this happen? What do they do? And Celsius is learning along with us, unfortunately, because they try to test as best as they can, but there's certain scenarios that happen in the real world that it's hard for them to replicate. So hang in there. There's a lot of promise. It sounds like they're going to figure this out and get there and get to the completion, and then hopefully that everything works out in the end. But it's obviously, when things go negative in the economy, not just crypto, but a lot of the different things going negative in the economy, people get concerned, and they get, it's very, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt certainly creeps in. So that's really good that the cards really spoke that way. So Charlie also came back and asked, let me find this question. Let's see. What's a good beginner book to learn about learning tarot?
Oh, I should know that and have that. I don't have it with me, but I will go ahead and send it to Joanna, a couple different books. Okay. And then she can go ahead and post it on your site, if that's okay.
That's fine. We'll get it out to the audience, no problem. But this is probably a great opportunity for you to say, how would these people find out more about you, or even learn about what you offer as far as individual readings or getting in touch with you? Do you have a website or anything like that?
I do. Thanks for asking. Sure. It's bluevisionoracle.com. And we're also creating a second website that Joanna is working on for me as well. And that is Eat, Drink, and Be Tarot. So we're offering that. And I also just want to say to Charlie, that really excites me, that already from being exposed to, just this little bit, you've had a calling, because I think we're kind of in that place now. We're being called to service others and awaken them. And the only other thing that I guess is coming up to add, because I did get affirmation and confirmation with what you were talking about, Jeff, it's just to realize we're going through the eye of the needle. That is what birth is. We're going through the birth canal, and it is where everything gets compact down, and it looks so tightened and it's like a squeeze play. But yet, when we look at what comes through on the other side of birth, there's just not even, it's indescribable in the miraculousness of it. So I have great faith in where we're headed, and yes, it's going to be full of labor pains, but I still have great faith.
Well, let's see. I don't think we have any more questions on deck, so it's my turn to ask one. So I'm going to ask, is the crypto bottom in for Bitcoin? Are we basically done going down? We're going to start heading back up?
So it looks like there's lots of obstacles still. to be cleared out with it. And this is more from a energetic and motivation standpoint, that it's, they're all reaching towards something, but they're and so they are kind of working together, but it's still not finding the right weaving, the right tapestry to bring together. And then this is which is also from that same arena, the wands, and this is about choices and decisions. And I think we're at kind of like it's on the fence right now. Can it stay or does it need to go? Because there's been so much about it that's been used for such more heinous type realities. So it's like, can it actually be brought back and sustained? And there's a lot of energy that goes into that decision. A lot. I can't even imagine. And then,
is that like a crossroads card?
Yeah, well, it's, yes, in a way. I mean, it's still a choice or decision, but it's depending upon who are the ones making this decision. That's what's so difficult for us to know is, who's really with everything, just like the way everything's being lowered and sent down into such low amounts right now. Who's actually, but this is interesting. This is the Queen of Wands. And if you look, she's in great celebration. And she is all about patience and understanding and truly looking at things from all angles. And again, it's the same thing that has to do with motivation and energy. So what I would say thus far is that it's still out for decision. They're still weighing. There's still some weighing going on with this, and we're not at a point yet where we're going to know the answer. I can pull some more cards if you want me to, related to this queen. Do you want me to?
I think so. I think people would really like to know a little bit more about this question.
Okay.
In the meantime, Joanna's added the eatdrinkandbetarot.com is that's her other website, in addition to Blue Vision Oracle.
So this again is another king that's coming in, and this is about based on the authorities and experts that are part of this. And kings are always, if we really look back in history, are all about building. So the look to here is there something else collaborative wise that can be built in now, to save Bitcoin. And so as far as I'm concerned, it's still being weighed. Again, they're just not quite ready. The Ace of Wands is beautiful. That's a new path. That's showing us that there is an opportunity for some kind of a salvage here. And it may be interesting to see, because we're in such a creative juncture. As far as, we just don't know. Nobody can really make a set response to this, because this is such new terrain. I mean, this is like it is a form of exploration. And then here we are. This is still another choice point or decision, kind of like you called it, a crossroads. But this is emotionally. So I think when people truly understand more about Bitcoin and what it was used for, it's going to be a haven for a lot of emotional upset. So it still looks like they haven't reached a place where they can actually make that decision yet, but it doesn't mean that they're not working on it.
Well, I think some of the wild cards here is that who's they? It's like there's so many possible theys. Like there's the governments, there's the financial people, there's the people, how they feel, how they fear, the greed. The fear and greed index is way pegged to fear, as you would expect when you lose 20% of value overnight and everything seems to be losing value while gas prices and everything else is going up. But yet they say inflation is not that. It's, what do they say? It's transitory, and it's not transitory. Even their story is transitory. So, but we're going to change it a little bit here. The More You Know Crypto has a question. He's wondering if he's getting close to being self-employed. His goal would be within 5 years, but sooner would be better.
Okay. Let me see on that one. Ooh, looking good. So I got the Ace of Cups, which is always beautiful. Again, that's about a completely new path and new direction, and part of it is emotional. So the sense that I'm gleaning from your question and this card showing up is that you have actually reached a neat place within you where you are ready to embrace self-employment, and you are ready to walk away from what has been a mainstay for you, and so this is giving a nice confirmation of what you've reached in even asking this question. And then this is always a great one. It's a death and rebirth. And death is really about transformation, which is really cool, because again, it is also affirming that you've reached a reality where what you've been into no longer serves you, and it doesn't fit where you see yourself in the future. And you're also starting to go outside the box with your creativity and figuring out what you can do with self-employment. So this is really exciting, because what you see inside it are beautiful new trees and horizon and a bright sun. So it's really offering you a taste of what that liberation will feel like as you go through this process of letting go and dying away from what has been your mainstay up until this time. And then the next card I got was the Five of Pentacles. This is about change, and this is that is a piece that's going to be it's not a serious change, but it still is going to be a change financially, with your basic security needs of home and family and finances. So it's alerting you, and this person is going through that the feeling of what that can feel like, where it can be abrupt, when we're not used to it. So just knowing that, honoring, and part of it's just because we're going through so much with what's going on in our world right now. And this is a great card for you. This is the Fool, carefree and impulsive and letting go. And as you can see, she's just truly letting go, and stepping into the newness of what she wants to go into. And there is something really neat when we start out on a journey this way, where we truly let go and just, really trust, because the universe will put places for our feet to land. And it's just learning to trust and guide and listen to our intuition, and somewhat be, more of a fool, have fun, be lighthearted. And then the other ones were the Six of Pentacles is again related to your Five of Pentacles, which I thought it was so neat that that's in your name, Jeff. That this is about perseverance, and but you can see that there's two hands involved, and so it's showing that you do have the perseverance to go ahead and make it through the changes financially that this will involve, and to see it through, because it really just is about perseverance. There's so many ways that we can be adaptive, and there's so many neat things out there now that are being offered to us to learn to grow our own food, and all the different things that we can do to supplement us as we go through transitions like you're talking about. And then this is the Knight of Cups, and the Knight is always about taking action. And this is kind of like guiding you to a new love. Whatever you're choosing to do with your self-employment is really neat. You have the horse in the background that's supportive, and you're holding the flowers. So there's it's like a new connection that you're creating with whatever you're going to be doing with self-employment that somehow feels good. It feels good for your heart and soul to step into something like that that's going to feel good for you. So hopefully that answers your questions. It's so fun to see what the answers are. It's so exciting. Oops, I'm not hearing you.
I'm muted. There we go. They told me, hey, Jeff's talking and we can't hear him. All right. So yeah, I think it's very interesting to see how the cards speak to all of us, and just like they tell a story. And it's interesting, and before I ask the next question, I've seen some people pull cards, and I've seen some people lay them out in different, like, I don't even know what to call, like, formations on tables. Is that like, is there differences? And can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of different spreads. I really like the knowledge base that I've gleaned most of my following from, and it's pretty basic. Like, it's just using the 3 cards. You can do so much with it, and then doing the one that I started out with, which goes into past, present, and future, and truly does tell a story. And then there's the Celtic cross, which can help people that need to have a taste of timing, especially timing, and just different obstacles that they're encountering and what it all means. But there are so many. You can get lost in it, but I really have learned that the ones that I follow are just suffice beautifully for being able to answer the questions, and it's great.
That's awesome. Well, we have an interesting question from Gene Simmons, or I think I pronounced that right. Will former presidents run for president again? And will the Dems succeed in hurting him with the January 6th issues?
Okay.
Watching my language as carefully as I can.
So proud of you. You did a great job to really think before you speak now.
Yeah, you have to. It's an art. It's a YouTube art, we call it. Try to minimize the flags that I don't want to say how many flags I've gotten because I want to get another one, but I think I did okay with that one. So let's see what the cards say for this one. That'd be interesting.
Oh, this is so fun. It's so fun. Okay, so the first card is about temperance. And this is about caution and balance, because this is literally about the biggest hot cake that we've ever had, probably, I think, in our history of politics, where there is just such a diversity of wants and needs related to this. So he's in a neat place. He's got angel wings in the back. So he's taking his time with and it's showing that there is still a need for that to not even be in the outing yet. Like it probably is being brandied about, but there's still, it's just like with the Bitcoin. There's so many angles and so many ways to look at things and look at the ramifications. So I think it still hasn't been decided upon. And then the 7 of Wands is interesting, because that's, if you look at her, she's looking away, but that's all again about a lot of experience. And I think January 6th is a perfect example of all the experience that we've been put through related to the volatility of this question. It's causing people to again, it just keeps creating the division between us in a greater way. So there's a lot that has been learned as a result of January 6th and looking at this question, and it's still they're still using it. This is great though, because this says that the justice is coming, but we're also on the right path. There is actually a greater awakening that's coming as a result of all this, which is good for us to look at. That's why I'm here, is to serve the awakening of people, and for them to really, really, you see her reflection, and it's a reflection where she's, it's a shadow component of herself, and she's having to weigh between those different aspects, which is what is coming for all of us. We're all having to look at our reactions, our beliefs, our knowing related to all this, and how we're responding and how we're behaving. And so it shows that there is something that's coming that's going to be awakening more of the truth. So it'll be interesting to see what that is. And then this is celebration. So this is interesting. The 3 of Cups. You see the women coming together. It's more of a feminine share, of course, and there's a lot of stardust in the sky, and they're looking up towards the sky as if there is something more etheric and beautiful coming for us. So again, as horrific as all of this has been for us, there is always the both and that's at work. So there's the greater personification that's showing up for us, and there is celebration. So it's neat that the truth is showing up, and there's celebration that the truth is showing up. And then the other ones are the King of Pentacles. Or excuse me, yeah, King of Pentacles. And if you look, he's got the kind of got, it looks like the world on his knee, but it actually is the symbol. And he's got the great wolf. And he looks very at peace. So there, the sense that I'm going to throw out there, because it's showing up, is a new role, that it may not necessarily be a president, that there's something new that's in the works that's going to reframe any of this for us, and is going to, again, just like the crypto, it's drawing us into a reality that we would never even guess as a possibility. So that's my sense, because there's a peace here. All three of these other cards were they're very positive. And then the Four of Wands is it's all about, in this case, I believe it's about stability. There's the circus tent, and they're all in celebration, but it's a celebration because stability is what most of us really crave right now, because it's been so much chaos. And so whatever it is, it's not anything that I can answer. It's up for everybody to do their own discernment as far as figuring out the messages that they've received based on what I've shared. But it does sound like there is something in the works, and it's beyond what we can even fathom.
Well, that's a great answer. Couldn't ask for much better at this for the cards. But one thing I'd like to build on that, and to give it a little bit of a crypto slant, is like there's been talk about blockchain with elections. Is there going to be any incorporation of blockchain in elections, I'll say in the next 18 months?
That's a biggie. Okay. This will be interesting to see what shows up. Isn't it fun? I think it's so fun.
Absolutely. And the more you know, we'll get you to a question. And Joanna, I'm not going to forget about you. I want you to think of a question before you're going to get our last question of the night.
Oh my goodness. I don't. Okay,
Hey, I'm giving you time. I'm giving you time and notice. So here, you think about it. You get about 10 minutes to figure it out.
Wow. So this is about creativity and out-of-the-box thinking, which actually is related to using the blockchain. But it's not without its pain, because there's just so much it's just like what you were saying with Celsius. There's just so many avenues that you have to encounter and process and find the very best possibility, and what will keep, corruption or whatever out of the situation. So this just shows you how much pain she's in, with this whole effort. I can't, and there's just, again, such diversity in opinion of how to approach this. So this just shows you the excruciatingness that's out there. And here's our knight again, which is so interesting that he's showing up, a couple times here tonight. And that is that there is some kind of a comprehension and an understanding that's going to come emotionally, where there can be more of a meeting of the minds, where there can be some action that can be taken, where the blockchain is workable. And it's just showing that the opportunity is there, and there are those that are vested in using that as a form of voting support. And they're really, it seems like there's a groundedness to it, the fact that it's coming through for more of the emotional part. And then the next card I got was the Hermit. I love the Hermit, but it's my love card because I can be a hermit. This is beautiful because it really is about, here we go again. This is all such new terrain. I mean, this is like Columbus, sailing the ocean blue and discovering new land. We're in new land, and there has to be some time to go in go more into all the different twists and turns that need to be processed through with this. So that's what this one's doing. And then he's using, it's neat, it's the Seven of Cups, and it's all about using a lot more of the emotional comprehension of what is this going to do to everybody. They've learned so much emotionally on what has happened to our people. I mean, there's just a lot more depression, there's a lot more pain, there's a lot more diversity, and yet there's also a lot more spiritual growth where people are waking up in ways that they can't even fathom, and it's happening, daily. So emotionally, people are now being called to look at what matters to them based on all the experience they've gleaned from going through this. And this is beautiful. Again, here we go. The Ace of Cups again. So this is about new paths emotionally. So it feels like there's going to be something that has some sort of a workout within this, and it's because there's so much understanding from more of the emotional standpoint, which the emotions are more passive. So it still is, it's still got a slowness in motion, but here we go with a take action card. And it's beautiful because it's about our basic security needs, our finances. So my sense is they may have already reached some sort of a greater understanding of that this is a possibility. And there is going to be a way that can make this workable. Whether or not it's safe, it's still in the newness, but it does feel like he's moving forward, and he's taken, all of these pentacles with him, and the horse is following. So it feels like there's somebody that's leading the way, that is taking action on this and must have a greater understanding of how to proceed.
All right. Well, I know we've got 2 crypto questions, then I'll give Joanna the big finish. But the first one is about the Ripple project and Ripple and XRP and the SEC lawsuit. Will Ripple win the SEC lawsuit, and what would it mean for XRP holders?
Okay. So fun to see what it is. Wow, it's interesting. It's bringing out some same cards. So it's starting with that what has been going on more in the past has been hidden. There is so much that we have no clue of. And I don't know who the ones are. Like you said, who are the they? We don't know who they are. But there's hidden mysteries. There's including fear, about what this will mean. And it depends on who's making the decision, as far as who is tapped into the fear, and fear of what, it depends on the groups making the decision. But there's a lot of hidden knowledge that's connected to this that is supportive of what's going on with this. And in this case, I think it's going to be more of a stagnancy that's still going on, where it's, as much as we all wish for it, yes, they are. It can be stagnancy or stability when this card shows up. There's an energy, but it still feels to me like there's still some more things that have to be worked out. And part of it's because of that hiddenness, that they, just when you think you've got it solved, then there's something else that rears its ugly head to try and discern as far as making the next step. And then this is cool. This is the completion more emotionally. So, and it's a good completion. I mean, look at they're putting their arms around each other, and the cups are up in the air, and there's children playing. So it feels like there actually is going to be a finalization of the lawsuit, and enough to really please whoever is pleased with the final outcome. So somebody is very, very pleased. And then it's going to bring change, and you can see the distraughtness of where he's at. Again, these aren't as serious of change, but he's very perplexed, and that makes sense because somebody's going to be very, very happy with the outcome, and somebody is going to be really, really upset, and it's going to be a change for them that they don't want. So, and then here we go again with our Ace of Wands, which is great because it's a new path. So there's something new that's going to come out of all of this. And it's going to be interesting to see how it fares amongst the public as far as how people feel about the outcome. But it is very exciting. It's a new energy. It's a new motivation, like a new agenda. And then the last card is that one we had before, which is the Five of Pentacles. So those are two change cards, and they're going to be changing things financially, and it's going to be tough on who gets affected by it. So my sense is that there is actually going to be an outcome. I can't predict the when, but I can give you this much data to know that there is a completion to it, and there's going to be some that are very, very pleased, and some that are going to be really not happy about the change. So I just can't get the win part.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, it's too tough.
I think I can read it as like XRP people would be happy a lot, but we'll have to see.
I agree.
And I could see the agenda change being that the SEC won't be persecuting these projects as much, but that's one interpretation, and we'll have to see how it plays out. Speaking of interpretations, I'm interpreting this question here from My Planet 224. Thanks for the question. This will be our last question for tonight before Joanna gets the big finale. We're going to bypass the numbers for Divi because it's a tough one to predict, but I'm going to say the Project Theta. A lot of people will watch my show like the Project Theta, including myself. Do you know the Theta Project?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so so the question, I guess, would be like Theta's future. What do the cards say about Theta's future?
Okay. Ooh. I'm only going to do 3 cards on this because I don't think I need to do more. This is really, really great. This is still out of the box thinking. And it's so neat to see what these different cryptos propagate, what they birth, what they make us have to really focus on. And this is teamwork. This is a really beautiful card where everybody's coming together. So there's some sort of creativity, some sort of outside the box, which is what it's going to take for something like this project, to really get the right collaboration to make it be what they hope it to flourish as. And then this is a great card. The sun's like what you wish for. It's where it's the best possible of outcomes. I mean, look how she's celebrating. Look at the brightness of the sky, and it's like an exaltation. So it can be more long term, where it doesn't happen as quickly as we want, but it is also letting you know that long term the outlook is very, very favorable. And then here we go again with the Justice card, and that's the truth and awakening and on the right path with what's being done for Theta's future. So I would say that they're going to be successful. Can't tell you exactly how long it's going to take. I didn't do that big a reading to get the timing, but it feels like it's got a good foothold.
Excellent. So, Joanna, I don't know if you have a question up, but Lance came up with one that could bail you out if you don't have one.
I have one, but can we do Lance's and then I'll do mine?
Okay, let's do Lance's. All right, so Lance had a great question. Where did it go? There it is. Lance. Will the collective consciousness of humanity reach a tipping point of awakening this year? That's a very deep question. I like
love
that
question, Lance. I love it.
Good job, Lance.
So the Page of Cups is about a new path, a new direction, and it's about a new direction emotionally. And he's pretty. There's a contentment there because he's just getting to sit by water, which is about compassion and emotions, and he's in a pretty dreamy place. And that's where pigs fly, which is so cute. So it's kind of an animated way to say that the new direction is happening. And here again, we get the Hermit card. So, this is really going to cause people to go inward in a way that they never maybe have, and for some, because it's, whether it's loss of family, it's loss of finances, their home. There's just so many different arenas that people are getting tapped into. So it's neat to know that this is there because it's such a beautiful card for learning how to go within, because that's the most important piece that's really missing for a lot of people. The whole world has gotten so used to being external, and the internal part is a missing component. And when you see where this one is, he's rising so high above everything, and it's taken him into some neat places that he may not have gotten to without going through all this crazy chaos. So
before you get to the next card, if I could just ask a question, could that card be related to like introspection? Could that be one interpretation?
Exactly.
So if your perceptions of reality or anything else gets challenged, that could be one interpretation.
Exactly.
Okay. Excellent.
Exactly, an introspection. And here we go again. This is so interesting how many times we've gotten this card tonight. There's no mistakes. It's you can shuffle these cards up, and you can create 3 different piles, and you can do each pile, somebody picks a pile, and you can do the other 2 piles, and you'll come out with the same message. It's just fascinating how it works. So a Five of Pentacles again is about change. And when finances are affected, you see how solemn that one is. He's leaning his head down into things, and it's like, there's a lot of depression. And, even with that introspection, that's a part of this. That's still someone that's kind of immersed in the change, but isn't showing that they're coming out of it. The next card is the Eight of Cups. And eights are interesting cups. Eights are interesting. They're about obstacles and barriers, and she's walking away from her emotions. So that's kind of a tough one if we want humanity to awaken. If they're not walking towards their emotions, then they're missing the importance of the lesson and everything that they've gone through. And what's neat about the number 8 is that it also can be turned and mean infinity. So you can see that it turns. And so there, even though it's an obstacle, there is the hope that people can, tap into the unlimited potential that's available to them. There's always that hope. This is so funny how we keep getting this one card. And then the Nine of Cups is all about advancement and progression. So there's a lot of success emotionally that's coming for humanity's consciousness, and it is exaltation, and it is, it's a beautiful card to have as the, towards the end here, to personify, what is being achieved. Can it be, and how do we look at it as a collective? Because I've also had people say that each of us is a collective in our own right too. So, and then the last card to support that is the Knight of Cups again, which is so cute that we keep getting. So there's going to be some neat action that's taken. My sense is, based on those cards, because they're not very powerful, really, there's no major arcana, that it's going to affect people, but I don't know if it's going to help them reach a tipping point this year.
Interesting. Before we get to Joanna's awesome question, which we can't wait to hear, I wanted to ask this question, which is how many cards are in the deck? Is the decks are all the same number of cards? How many cards are there?
78.
Oh wow, that's a lot. So it's amazing that we keep seeing the same cards. I mean,
Yes,
we saw the sun once, and then we keep seeing the night like 4 or 5 times tonight.
I know, and we keep seeing the Five of Pentacles, which is about change. I mean, it fits. It fits everything, and it's so cute that you have that name, and also Pentacles look like crypto.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes, it is. No mistakes.
There are no coincidences.
No.
And Joanna, first off, I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and I'll be putting up the website again. But Joanna, please let us know, what is this thought-provoking question that's about to happen to us all?
Well, we talked about it earlier today, and I have been pouring a lot of effort into it, and I'm not going to get into details. Crypto Confidential. I love it. I love what's behind it. I love everything about it. And I'll just pose that question as that. The future for Crypto Confidential.
Ah.
Interesting question.
Ooh. Good. So Crypto Confidential has a tremendous amount of experience and training that they're bringing in, and they're planting, as you see, these wonderful seeds based on their experience and knowledge, and it's blooming something, some brand new life in the planting that's showing up. And so that's neat to know that they're coming in with that experience. There are obstacles, and the obstacles have to do with the momentum, almost as if energetically they're going to be thwarted in some way, and they're going to, they have the like I said, the eights can be unlimited potential. And it is progression. You're coming after 7, which is a very positive card. So you're moving up in numbers. So, they can be moving forward in spite of obstacles and what comes in their way. But we also have to look at obstacles and barriers sometimes in a different way, because sometimes there's a higher component that's going on that is actually slowing things down for a greater reason, that's going to maybe bring greater success, even though it feels like it's uncomfortable. It's not what we wish for in the moment, but it doesn't, because this is still got beautiful colors in it, and they're all kind of collectively working together. So the next one is a Page of Pentacles, which is very exciting. That's beautiful. That's a new path financially for Crypto Confidential. So it'll be neat to see if they're stepping into an additional component that they're going to be bringing to the table. My sense is they are. She's very proud of it, and it's quite a large size. So it's, and she's standing on one foot, and she's within a circle. So it feels very, very success oriented. And then all these cards are great. Ace of Swords is new paths mentally. So that's interesting that I said there's something new that they're going to be bringing forward, because it's using, it's going to be using cryptos in maybe a new avenue that hasn't been thought of. There's so much potential with cryptos as far as where we can go with them. And, maybe it's something even different than staking. Maybe it's another avenue that we hadn't thought of that can come up. I don't know. But this is a very good card. And then we have our beautiful Empress again, which is about abundance in a rich future. So, that's very exciting for them. I like that it's the feminine, because it's bringing in a softer version of the fertile energy and the positive outcomes. And, that's good. That's a different, it just brings about more of a softness to the arena, which is, we need, we need that combination of the masculine and feminine. And then the last card is the King of Wands, which is beautiful. Look at him. He's got the lion behind him, and that's about building and authority and mastery. And he looks very confident. He's got the support of the lion. So he's it's very, very positive. And it sometimes it can mean that there's actually another party that's going to join him. That's going to be an expert that's going to bring some solidarity and something really powerful from a building standpoint. But it can also just be comprehension and mastery that they've witnessed, and with those preceding cards where it can be something brand new. This is going to be a neat outcome that's going to come as a result of it. So it's very cool. Very cool.
Thank you.
It's so cute. We're not hearing you, dear sweet.
There we go. Now you can hear me. This has been fantastic. I was working on doing so many things, getting your information in the ticker that's going by, and I'm going to put that up there, and I can see that I can get both. So there's your website. That's how to get a hold of Annie Blue. I hope that everybody enjoyed tonight's show, and hopefully we'll get to do this again. I thought this was a lot of fun. You can see it's across at bluevisionoracle.com. That's Annie Blue. And then you can see the information about the newsletter, how to get a hold of me, and so on. But I want to thank you. And Annie, this was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I think the audience, I think, enjoyed it too. There's a lot of good questions. And maybe it's something we do about once a month and have some fun now and then.
I would totally love it. It was really, really fun. And I'm grateful that I finally got to meet you, because I've heard only wondrous things about you from Joanna. So I feel very blessed that I got the opportunity.
Same here about yourself, Annie. So I appreciate that, Joanna. Thank you for the suggestion. This was great. Thank you for a great question to wrap up as well. And I'd like to thank everyone for stopping by, and hope everybody enjoyed the show. And please leave a comment if you watch it later. You didn't catch it live. I know a lot of people, it's late in the East Coast. But if you watch the show later, leave a comment below and like and subscribe. But comments about, did you like this show? Do you want to see it again? That's always a benefit and just helps drive good content. So with all that said, I'm just going to say, I'm going to close the drawer in the bureau, say follow leader one more time, and I will talk to everybody real soon. Take care.
Thank you.